Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining is incredibly profitable if you have the right machine and or the right electricity rate or a favorable electrical situation. For example, excess energy from solar, or maybe utilities build your electricity bill in, so it doesn't really matter how much you use within reason. So today we're going to be looking at miners. In particular, we're going to be breaking down how you need at least $4,000 right now to get the best mining rig for the most profitable coins to mine, unless you buy this other miner that comes in under $1,000. Hey, what's up? I'm Vosk. I've been working on building my own mining farm. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel where we make content. I hope you enjoy it. Subscribe, stick around, and let's dig into it. So cryptocurrencies have pulled back. It's very depressing and it's very sobering. It makes you realize how overpriced some mining rigs are versus their returns. And if you are perpetually betting on the upside, one day you'll get burned. But it's not financial advice. So we're going to be looking at several of these cryptocurrencies, and then we'll talk about more further on. We're going to go down this list by daily emission. This is basically the amount of coins mined per day, how much money can be had mining Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Kaspa, Ethereum Classic, right? These cryptocurrencies create the biggest mining ecosystems. And speaking of mining ecosystems, I just want to take a quick moment to mention Quantum Expeditions. I'm happy to have equity in their project. They are building a mining farm and their goal is to be publicly traded, and they are crowdfunding it. You can get in for just a couple $100 without being an accredited investor, and of course you can invest well beyond that if you'd like to do so. Check them out down in the video description below. So I mentioned a cheap one under 1,000, and that's going to be the Ice River AL0. This ALPH miner is the only mining rig, right, that is basically new, profitable, and relatively cheap or affordable as far as mining rigs go. I mean, dropping $1,000 on anything, at least to me, is still a lot. Okay, so I would hope to make that back and then some. ALPH is a cryptocurrency that is newly ASIC mined. These miners are brand new. We broke down the efficiency. The AL0 is a very efficient miner. It's producing like over $60,000 of newly mined coins per day, which creates a good mining ecosystem. It's not huge or anything, right? The main coins we're going to be focusing on are producing $250,000 or millions of dollars in daily mined coins. But I wanted to give that one a shout out, a mention, right? It's since been sold out directly on the website. We do have an affiliate link with Coin Mining Central, who we will be talking about showing in this video. You can of course go direct to the manufacturer's site, like we're going to be talking about some of these Bitcoin miners. And also, spoiler, the Antminer L9, which is listed for sale at 12 grand before you punch in code VoskCoin to save some coin, which after the discount and factoring in tariffs, at least for me in the USA, it is cheaper to buy the L9 from Coin Mining Central than it is directly from Bitmain when they have a future that's way out on the timeline, right? So we look at this ETA November 2024, and if I choose a November batch, it's thousands of dollars cheaper to get that batch. And whenever I buy miners direct from Bitmain, I get stuck with a 30% tariff. But let's get on topic here. One other little mini miner I want to mention is the Ice River KS0 Ultra. This thing pulls a little bit less than $1 a day, costs like a quarter a day to run. So something to understand. It's not very profitable, but it's not very expensive, coming in at a couple $100. So if you want to get into Bitcoin mining and you want the best miner, and that's what we're focusing on. We're focusing on getting the best miner within reason, right? It's pretty much the Bitmain Antminer S21 XP, and that's not even officially out yet. It's coming out at the end of this year. $7,225 to get in the game for Bitcoin mining with the best miner. If you have a good residential electricity rate of 10 cents per kilowatt hour, this thing would mine about $11 a day right now and cost nearly $9 a day to operate. Understand, major Bitcoin mining farms have better electricity rates than this, so many of these other miners become more viable. So you can punch whatever electricity rate you have in this mining profitability calculator, among others. it's pretty sobering, right? You could grab the S21, S21 Pro, which we have reviewed. Good miners, at least after I warrantied my second S21 that was frustrating. But I mean, these are $4,000 to $7,000 mining rigs to barely make a couple bucks a day unless you have an industrialized electricity rate. Bitcoin mining is more difficult than it's ever been, even though there's about $25 million of coins put out in the last 24 hours, right? And that's after the prices come down 10%. You had 10%, we're at nearly $30 million of Bitcoins mined per day. And yet it's so difficult to turn a profit. It really shows you where we are in the life cycle of at least Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining, but honestly kind of crypto as a whole here. It's maturing for better and worse. So let's look at Dogecoin. You want to get into Dogecoin mining. It's right now the second most profitable coin to mine. It is merge mined with Litecoin, and they're trying to push this Bells coin. We'll see if that really goes anywhere. So it's actually triple mined technically. The takeaway here though, Doge does very well every cycle historically. And if you wanted to grab an L9, we already talked about those prices real quick, somewhere between 8 and 11 grand before tariffs from Bitmain later this year, or I could get one pretty much right now for less than $12,000 after our coupon code. I mean, that's crazy, right? So I want to get into Doge mining. It's going to cost me basically $10,000 or more. Let's look at the most profitable mining rigs when ranked at 10 cents per kilowatt hour, right? And everything we're looking at today, they're ASIC miners, they're application-specific integrated circuit miners. These are purpose-built machines, custom computers. All they do is mine one mining algorithm normally here, right? So we look at the Antminer L9. It is the most powerful, the most efficient, the most profitable script miner. That is the mining algorithm for Litecoin, Dogecoin, and beyond. So $23 is how much coin it would mine, approximately 196 Doge a day. Cost me about $8 a day to run, putting $15.21 into my pocket. At a glance, this is a much more lucrative endeavor than Bitcoin mining, but it's more risky, right? There's no Doge ETF. No one's putting Doge into their retirement portfolio unless they're a maniac or a freaking genius. So some things to keep in mind. The big takeaway though is that the efficiency is just leagues ahead of their competitors and their previous model. So that's the reality, right? If you want to get into Doge mining, it's basically a 10 grand buy-in. Several years ago, you could get the best Doge miner that would have mined more coin at a similar dollar return for like $1,000 to $2,000. Very, very crazy. Everyone's always talking about Kaspa mining. We've been talking a lot about Kaspa mining. I'll keep Kaspa mining brief. You want to get into the Kaspa mining game, right? Best miner, ordering it to get it like right now, KS5 Pro, 13, 14 grand. Ridiculous, crazy, right? You could also go for the KS5M and the KS5L. The efficiency on these are much worse than the KS5 Pro miners, but they come in at a fraction of the price point, and that gets you more towards like that $4,000. I've got the BMKS Max. That's been a good miner here on our mining farm as well. My KS3M has been trash for what it's worth. Bottom line here though is it's very, very expensive to get in the game. Right now, these are still very, very profitable miners though. That BMKS Max I referenced is projected to earn about $18.62 a day, costing about $8 a day, putting over $10 of actual realized profit with a $4,000 miner that used to sell for 10 grand or more. And I actually have it right here. You can see that at the moment it is earning $16.23 at a 24-hour rate. And this fluctuates like plus minus $2. So that's pretty much on target with what we're projected there. What you may not know if you don't follow this super closely is that Kaspa rewards are rapidly decreasing. Kaspa network hash rate is rapidly increasing. And they're making so many more Kaspa miners. Specifically, the KS5 Pro batch is supposed to be huge, which is going to make all these other miners less and less profitable. And if you look at how much they earn in their pricing, it does make you think that they're trying to move all of these off of their shelves as fast as possible before a huge batch of these hit, because they're more efficient. When all these other miners are no longer profitable, these will still be profitable, and that's why efficiency is king. Speaking of king of efficiency, that's where the Ethereum Classic miner comes in. So we take a big step down in daily emission here, right? We're in the millions and millions, and now we've got $250,000. but $250,000 is still a lot of money. I'd love to mine $250,000 a day, wouldn't you? We look at Ethereum Classic, and we've recently reviewed this. We were very impressed with the Jazz Miner X16P, but later on, the Bombax miners came out and blew these out of the water, which blew all of their competition out of the water, which is, to be honest, crazy. The good news about the Bombax series, they're EZ100C, and it's pretty funny. The C literally stands for cozy. It's etched into the case. I mean, check it out. We have one. And you can get into one of these for a little over $4,000. Very expensive again, right? All the miners are very expensive, but these pretty much have best-in-class efficiency. The EZ100 is going to be the best miner as far as efficiency and density goes, but these are... They literally seem to be just one of the boards from the big boy miner, and then with bigger heat sinks, and it's much quieter. This is something that can easily be deployed anywhere in the house. It's also rated for 110, 120 voltage, in addition to 240 voltage. Much easier to find a random outlet in your house to power something like this, as opposed to this with the attached power supply, which you do need a dedicated proper voltage circuit for running that type of mining rig. Every miner we've referenced in today's video is a pro grade, industrial grade miner that has an attached power supply that needs that 240 grade electricity. So just make sure you're aware of that before you buy a miner that you're unable to use. If you use this on the wrong voltage, you can damage it. That's not a good time for something so expensive. But 15 grand, I mean, that's crazy. What does a 15 grand miner really get you? Well, one of the most profitable miners in the world. The EZ100 here, the Pro seems to basically just be an overclocked version of it. So we'll look at the EZ100. This earns about $16.50 a day, costing about $5.52 a day to run. And that means that at 10 cents per kilowatt hour, I'm realizing a profit, because I have some of these on the farm, of $11 per machine. You may notice we skipped over the AL box. That's because the AL0 is much more efficient, twice as efficient as it, and the AL1 is even more efficient than both of those other devices. ALPH mining is rapidly developing. It's crazy, it's scary, and it's risky, right? It could be like getting an early Kaspa miner and end up being super lucrative, or it could be like getting a Cadena miner at the peak, where many people unfortunately never made their money back on Cadena miners. Beyond that, right, we look at all these other cryptocurrencies, and I had a video a week or so ago where I ran through the most profitable miner for each coin, and basically any coin you look at on here that's ASIC mined, all of these cryptocurrencies, the best-in-class miners, some of them don't even turn a profit at 10 cents, 9 cents, even 8 cents per kilowatt hour of electricity. And if you want to go buy one today, they're still selling for $3,000, $4,000. The prices versus returns on mining are objectively worse than they've ever been. Does that mean that everybody knows what's coming and next year is going to be crazy and these things will look like great buys today and they'll be cheap and they will ascend in value and they will get ridiculous returns, right? Because don't forget that things like Doge could 10x from these price points. Absolutely. And let's say Doge goes up to $1 a coin and I'm mining 196 Doge with this L9. Okay, so right now I'm making $15 a day. Okay, whatever. And if I'm making 196 Doge a day in retrospect, and say I do that, right, for, I don't know, like 6 months before things go crazy. So I'm getting 196, right? I do that every day for 30 days. And then I do that for 6 months, right? I could have potentially made, if things go nuts and I hodl these coins, 35 grand. Okay, who cares about spending 10 grand if we're making 35 grand over the next 6 months? But obviously that's hopium, right? That's not what the situation is. That's not guaranteed, but nothing's guaranteed. It's tough to say, right? It's like, if you believe in it so much, with these current mining returns, miner prices, the question continues to be asked, right? Well, why don't you just buy the coin? Okay. Well, let's run that math real quick, just for fun. So if I was to go buy Doge right now, and I put in, we'll just say $10,000, I'd buy 99,000 Doge. And if it went to $1, I would have 3 times the returns of that 6-month projection I just broke down. But let me tell you what I won't have. I won't have a machine, right, that I can use in my business. I can expense the machine. I can expense the electricity. There's a lot of benefits there. Consult a professional, whatever stupid disclaimer I have to have. And I also don't have a machine that will hopefully appreciate in value in a best case scenario, right? So that could be something that's 10 grand. That could be worth 30 grand. So yeah, there's still a disparity at 6 months. But at some point in the timeline, if things go great, the miner is a better buy than the coin. But on the flip side of that, there are many times where just buying the coin was not only the better move, it's also much easier. I gotta run these machines, man. I was talking about this the other day. Plugging in a couple miners, easy passive income. Seriously. Building a mining farm, that becomes a job. Speaking of jobs, it's time for me to end this piece of my job. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. This video is done. There's a bunch of other stuff we could talk about, but, well, that's what next video is for. So I hope you like the content. Please subscribe if you did. Let me know your thoughts on mining right now, the current ecosystem, the landscape, what you're doing or what you think I should be doing, or any thoughts. I'd love to hear them down below here. So thanks for tuning in.